Gonna get going. It is New Year's Eve today, or December 31st, and we're gonna talk about New Year's. We're gonna talk about just changing your life in general. What has to happen for your life to change? So let's get going. Let's see who's hopping on real quick. Basically, I have a simple saying: to change your life, you change your life. It really comes down to that. There's nothing spectacular, nothing that you're doing that's really different. You just got to think in terms of, if you want to change your life, you change your life. It's not about wanting anything. It's about doing the things you need to get done. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's see who's hopping on real quick. A lot of times people tend to set goals and then things don't happen. The change doesn't happen. It's like you sit down, you write your New Year's Eve resolution or your New Year's resolutions, and then bam, a couple months go by and nothing's really changed. A lot of people, they're in the same place today as they were a year ago, and the year before that. And it's because they don't know how to actually make the changes they need to change. What happens is people tend to just sit down, write down their goals, write down their New Year's Eve or their New Year's resolutions, and they don't actually change anything in their life. They want their life to change without actually changing their life. And you have to truly get this through your head that in order to change your life, you change your life. That's how it all works. So what's up, Maggie? What's up, Paul? What's up, Alex? What's up, everybody? Sherry, Glenn, Ricardo, Kathy, what's up, peeps? You got to think along the lines of your life is kind of like in this habit loop. So think about it. You wake up usually around the same time every day. When you take a shower, you shower the same way every single time. The way you put on soap, the way you brush your teeth, it's the exact same. Like you go here to the left side first and you go to the right side. Then you do it all the same way. Even when you dry yourself out of the shower, you dry yourself in the same way. And it's all these like habit loops that keep happening over and over and over again. The same goes with your life. It's like you wake up at a certain time, you tend to do certain things throughout the day, which are usually the same. You get home around a certain time. If you have a job, you get home around a certain time, you do the same things. Like, all right, let's cook. Once I'm home, now it's time to cook. All right, let me throw on some Netflix real quick. Let me rest a little bit. So your life tends to go into this habit loop. You do the same things over and over and over around the same times throughout the same days. Well, the days pretty much just mesh into one. And so at a certain point, you have to realize, like, something's got to change within my life in order to make these life changes that I want to make. All right. And actually, I want to hear some of your guys' New Year's Eve or your New Year's resolutions, your goals in general. So if you guys want to post them here, I want to see what it is you guys are trying to get done. But you want to think along the lines of, if you're trying to make these changes, something truly has to change. A lot of times life will get in the way just because you're unsure of the priorities in your life. So you have priorities, or you say something is a priority, something pops up, and then you have to do that thing. You're like, oh, this is the urgent thing. I got to do this thing, right? And it's only because you don't understand what your priorities are. Think about it like this. If, let's say, a family member got into an accident, or you could go throughout the day, you could go to the mall, you go shopping at the mall. So it's 12 o'clock and you a family member, you get a call, oh, so-and-so got into an accident, or are you going to go shopping? Which one are you going to do? Go see the person who got into an accident or go shopping? Obviously, you're going to go see the person who got into an accident, your family member who got into an accident, because that is a priority to you. The same goes with your goals in general. If you see that this is a priority to build your online brand, to build a speaking business, coaching business, whatever it is, if you see this as a priority, then life does not get in the way, because what happens over here is not a priority in any way. And so the only reason life gets in the way is because you just don't understand what your priorities are. When people tell me, like, I don't have time for cold calling or cold emailing, or I don't have time for XYZ, it's simply because it is literally not a priority to them. That is literally the only reason you don't have time for something. Yeah, that's why. So Sherry said, schedule my day every day. Nice. Yeah, that's actually perfect. It's one of the things where scheduling the day, like I said in the previous video, or a couple videos ago, I said that was the thing that actually changed my life, and it will for you, because just as with this video here, to change your life, you have to change your life. You don't sit down and just say, here are the goals. Like, think about it in literal terms. This is what I think about. I think about in literal analytical terms. If you sit down and you write down a goal, what did you do? All you did was sit down and write something. That's all you did. That's the only life change that you made at that moment. You sat down and you wrote something. Sure, you wrote down a goal, but for all we know, it could have just been 2 + 2 = 4. For all we know, that's what you could have written down. That's literally the only thing you did at that moment, which is why people's lives do not change with New Year's resolutions. They sit down, all they do is write down goals. That's all they do. And a goal, literally, it's no different than sitting down writing 2 + 2 = 4. That's all they're doing. They're not making any changes in their life other than sitting down saying, here's the changes I want to make in my life, but they don't make any real changes in their life. And so it's like what I was saying when people tell me they don't have time to cold email or cold call or whatever because let's say they have a job. So at that moment, you want to think along the lines of maybe I'll go part-time on the job and then I'll spend the rest of the time doing cold email, cold calling or whatever it is. And so you just got to think in terms of what it is you're going to change. When people say to me, I don't have a lot of money, right? Or I don't have whether it's money to invest or just money in general. I don't have money. I want to make more money. I think in terms of what can you actually cut out of your current life to save revenue that you're actually throwing away. So, for example, maybe you're just buying too many things on Amazon. Maybe you have Netflix. Maybe you have cable in general. You got to get rid of that if you want to actually have more money, right? Little things like that you're just cutting out so you can actually take that money and use it for something else. Use it for your business. Use it for the goals that you actually want to accomplish. But at some point, you have to change the things. Just in your life, you got to assume that, or you got to think along the lines of the bigger the dream, the bigger the life changes have to be. So if you just have a small dream or not a small dream, if you just have a simple goal, then the bigger life changes, you don't have to make these huge life changes. But if you're trying to be a freaking billionaire, your entire life has to change. Everything you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, everything within that time period has to change. And so the bigger the goal, the bigger the life changes you have to make in general. You just want to think in terms of how different is your current reality from the reality that needs to happen to make the changes in your life actually happen. So your current reality, whatever you're doing throughout your day, those aren't the things that are going to produce the end result you want to produce. If they were, you would already have the end result. So whatever it is you're doing right now, it's not enough to get to where you want to be. And so you have to understand that. And once you understand that, you have to start thinking in terms of what exactly do I need to do to freaking get there, right? But you have to think in terms of the bigger the life changes, or the bigger the dream, the bigger the life changes you have to make. If you are only doing 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year, and you want to hit 500,000 a year, then pretty much your entire life is going to have to change. You cannot keep working the job that you're working right now. You can't keep coming home at the time you're coming home. You can't keep doing whatever it is you're doing when you come home. You just can't keep doing those things. And I know you get this. Like, I know you understand it. But what are you going to do tomorrow when you wake up? What are you going to do the next day when you wake up? What exactly are you literally going to change when you wake up? Let's see some of these resolutions. So there's a schedule a day. Let's see, resolution: stop puttering because finding events is boring. I tend to install closets, fix my car, work on coin routines. Exactly. It's funny, those little things that tend to pop up when you get bored. It's like you're bored, and then all of a sudden you get busy, right? It's like, I'm bored doing this thing. Let me just go fix my car real quick. Yeah, it's funny, those things tend to pop up. All right, cool. So Benji's the real deal. If you want to be a speaker, listen to this man. Nice. All right, you said, yep, everyone wants to be successful, but nobody wants to put a damn phone down. Yeah, exactly. You want to think in terms of the changes. Like, I was reading the biography with Jeff Bezos, and in the biography, he actually said, he's like, I don't want to be 80 years old. Oh, and by the way, this is before he switched to Amazon. So the background is he had a job, a pretty nice job. He was a VP of some hedge fund. Like, he was one of the VPs of a hedge fund, making plenty of money, really successful in the industry. And then he's thinking, oh, there's this internet thing, and oh, we can sell books online. And he actually brought the idea to the hedge fund, but they said no. So he's like, I don't want to pass this up, right? And so here's what he said to himself. He's like, I don't want to be 80 years old, and in a quiet moment of reflection, thinking back over my life and cataloging a bunch of major regrets. And so he's basically saying, like, hey, when I'm 80 years old, I'm not going to sit there and think about, like, oh man, I wish I would have gotten this promotion at the hedge fund. He would have been sitting there thinking like, dang it, I should have freaking started that internet business that I thought about. And so you got to think along the same lines in terms of when you're 80 years old, are you really going to be thinking about the job you're at now if you're at a job, or are you really going to be thinking about the things that you're doing right now? Or are you going to sit there and say like, oh man, I freaking wish I would have actually went there. I wish I would have built my business or something like that, right? And so you have to truly get this through your brain in order for the change to start to happen. Otherwise, the change just won't happen, right? You got to think that life doesn't change because you want it to change. It changes because you changed it. Now that sounds simple, but a lot of people, they sit down and they want their life to change. They talk about the changes. They literally want their life to change in some sort of way, writing down the goals, whatever it is. But you have to understand that just because you want your life to change, that doesn't change it. What changes your life is literally you changing your life. And so it's like when I was just trying to get hired as an entertainer, right? Throughout the entire time when I was performing in restaurants, I wanted to do corporate gigs. Like as I'm performing in restaurants, I wanted to do corporate gigs. I didn't really know how though. Like I didn't know what to really do. Everyone kept saying referrals and all that stuff, but I didn't really know what to do. But the entire time I'm performing in restaurants, I'm like, I want to do corporate. I want to do corporate. But I never actually made that change. And the reason I didn't make that change is because I was too damn comfortable doing restaurant magic. I was making plenty of money doing restaurant magic, right? So I didn't make any changes whatsoever. Like, sure, maybe I heard about cold calling, so I call a couple companies here or there, but I didn't really make a change. I didn't make that commitment to change. And so as I'm doing restaurants, it wasn't until I got let go by all the restaurants in a week where I said, okay, something's got to change. And at that point, instead of me going back to my current habit, the previous loop that I was in with the restaurant magic, I literally just changed my entire life. My life went from me doing restaurant gigs to going from restaurant to restaurant to me just cold calling, cold emailing, doing whatever it took to actually get booked by these companies. So you got to think in terms of what exactly are you going to change? And then when I wanted to actually build the online brand, right? This was probably one of the hardest change for me to make because I was making too much money actually doing it instead of teaching it. And so at a certain point, I'm like, well, I don't really need to build this whole online stuff. Don't really need to do content, none of that stuff, because I was making too much actually getting hired by these companies. At the same time, I still wanted to do the online stuff. I still wanted to actually produce content and everything. And so my life had to change from cold emailing all day, every day. Literally, that's all I did all day, every day, just cold email. It had to change from doing that to toning that down to doing the other things. The Oasis is what I call it. The offers, ads, content, emails, and sales videos. The actual daily activities in my life had to literally change in order to change my life. The same goes with something as simple as the boxing, right? So I noticed that throughout the day, I would wake up, I'm good to go. And then maybe about, I don't know, midday or so, I felt like brain fog. And I'm thinking like, what the heck? What's up with this stupid brain fog, right? And so I'd get an extra coffee or something, wouldn't work. None of this stuff worked. And so I thought, you know what? Let me do some boxing, right? Because I know the brain fog, if I get a ton of oxygen to my brain, then it's definitely got to go. So I started doing more of the boxing and bam, got rid of the brain fog. And so it was an actual change in my life that caused the life to change. Just because you want your life to change, aka write down goals, does not mean your life is going to change. If you want your life to change, you change your life. You change what you literally do throughout the day. Are you actually reaching out? If you want to get hired as a speaker, are you reaching out to events? Are you doing cold emailing? Or hey, if you're not a speaker and it makes sense to reach out to people, are you doing it? If no, start. You have to start doing this stuff. I mean, if you want to create a personal brand, like what exactly are you doing throughout the day? Do you actually spend money on advertising and do you actually sell a product? If not, you have to start doing it. You can't sit there and just think about it. You can't sit there and just write down goals about it. You can't say like, all right, this year I'm going to do 1 million in sales, or this year I'm going to do 500,000 in sales, or whatever it is. You can't just sit there and do that. That is just one small aspect. Like I said, take it literally in terms of you literally sit down, you write something on a piece of paper. What did you get done? Like, what did you actually change at that moment? The only thing you got done was writing something down. That's the only thing you ever did. And so when you write down a goal, it's like, so what? It's no different than writing down 2 + 2 = 4. You got the same amount of work done. That's all you did. And so you have to think, okay, here's the goal. Here's the mission. Here's what I want to accomplish. Now, what are the activities I have to change? What's the environment, the people that I have to change to make this thing happen? And so it's one of the reasons why when people watch free videos and everything, it's one of the reasons why their life doesn't change, because it's similar to writing down a goal. All they did was watch a video. Take it literally. Take everything you do to a literal sense. When you sit down and watch a video, listen to a podcast, whatever it is, no matter how inspired you got, no matter how much great information you felt like you received, or how much great information you felt like you already know, what did you actually get done? All you did was listen to a podcast. All you did was watch a video. All you did was say, I know that. That's all you did. And it's one of the reasons why I keep telling people, when people tell me, I say like, all right, start doing some Facebook ads. They're like, yeah, I mean, I know. Okay. I'm like, I don't care what you know. Are you spending $500 a day on Facebook ads? That's the only thing that matters. And so it doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't matter what you write down in terms of goals. The only thing that matters is how your life literally changes. I remember like when I was talking with people on the phone, with a lot of speakers on the phone, and there was one person who told me that she essentially wouldn't start until she had $100,000 saved up in her bank account, right? And I think this is really just an excuse for why she didn't want to invest in the program, because she was just working a normal job where I think it was maybe $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year that she was making. And so she was thinking the only time I'm going to start is when I have $100,000 in my bank account. And I think she only said that just because she's like, I don't want you to sell me anything, right? But still, I basically said, well, what are you going to change in your life to make that happen? Right? It doesn't matter if you have a normal job, if you're working at freaking McDonald's or whatever. It doesn't matter if you want to have $100,000 in your bank account. What exactly are you going to do to make that happen? Because what you're doing right now, it's not going to happen. Whatever it is you're doing right now, you aren't making enough to save enough to actually make $100,000. Sure, you'll make $100,000 and you'll save enough in 20 years if you do the saving, right? But what exactly are you going to change in your life to make that thing happen? And there was no real answer to that. I can't remember what she said. She said something like, I don't know, like I'm going to start. I'm going to start growing the business or something like that. But it wasn't like a real answer to it. There was no strategic way of doing it. And because of that, she couldn't change her life because she didn't know what to change in her life. If you have a goal, a mission, something you want to accomplish, your New Year's resolution, whatever it is, it's not enough to say what it is. You have to sit there and actually do what needs to get done. So it really just comes down to what do I want and what are the activities that I need to engage in throughout the day to make this thing happen. The hardest part are the activities, because no matter what you do, when you sit down and you write down a goal, a New Year's resolution, no matter what it is, and you sit down and write down the activities, you always think those activities will get you that end goal. You always think, all right, my New Year's resolution is $1 million this year. And in order to do that, I'm going to start by writing a book, right? So you naturally think by doing this thing, it's going to help you get there. But if you don't know what it is you need to get done to get to the end goal, then all the activities you engage in is just going to waste your time. There's a reason why people keep saying, get a mentor, or buy the programs, all that, because it tells you here are the steps you have to do to get this thing, to accomplish this thing. It's one of the reasons why, I wouldn't say years ago, but maybe 6 months ago, a speaker, he asked me, he was like, hey man, so, I mean, are you using like Facebook ads to get gigs and stuff like that? I said, no, not at all. Facebook ads is a horrible thing to use to get gigs, because that's not how people find speakers or entertainers. They don't do that. But he was wondering, why was he losing so much money on Facebook ads? It wasn't working for him. Like, why am I losing so much money? And I told him, because you're just doing the wrong things. And he's like, well, yeah, but I mean, all these people say Facebook ads works and stuff. So yeah, Facebook ads works. It just doesn't work for this. And so he was just doing the wrong things, but he didn't know he was doing the wrong things. And so it's not enough to just say, here's what I want. You have to make sure you truly are doing the right things, and you have to make sure you're doing those things the right way if you want to actually get what you want. Your first step to getting what you want is knowledge. Without knowing what you're doing, you simply will be doing the wrong things. Think about if you want to get healthier. You're like, okay, I want to get healthier. I want to lose weight, or I want to just freaking get all swole, or whichever one, right? Whichever one you want to do. Actually, let's take both of them. Let's say you want to bulk up and then you want to like get freaking 6-pack abs, right? Both of those require you to do different things throughout the day. The bulking up process requires you to get more protein and all that. You're like building up, you're bulking up, right? And then the slimming down process, well, I don't really know the slimming down. I guess more cardio or something. I'm not a freaking fitness trainer. Go talk to a damn fitness trainer. But basically, both of those things require you to do different things. If you didn't know exactly what to do, it'd take you really long to get there. You'll be doing trial and error. You'll be like, all right, maybe I'll eat some chicken, maybe I'll have some steak, maybe you'll just be trying different things, and it'll happen by luck. On the other hand, if you just talk to a fitness trainer just say, all right, here's what you do. In the morning, you just have some egg whites, have 8, 10 egg whites, and then all of a sudden do this, and then you do this, and they'll just tell you what to do, right? So you have to make sure that you truly are doing the right things. Otherwise, your goal is going to fail. I can't stress this enough. I've mentioned this in other videos. It is possible to fail. This is one of the problems that I have with motivational content, is that people make you believe, or books and all this motivational content, it makes you believe that just because you want it to be true, it will be true. That's not reality. You may want something, that doesn't mean you're going to get it. And you have to understand that it is possible to fail. When you understand this, you need to do the right things to make you succeed. And once you understand in terms of whether or not you're doing the right things to actually make you succeed, that's when you go full force with those right things. But if you don't think that it's possible to fail, you probably will. In fact, it's inevitable you're going to fail. Everybody fails. It's damn near inevitable, right? It's just a matter of whether or not you give up. And so you have to truly get this through your head, that it is possible to fail if you're doing the wrong things. And so you have to make sure that you're always doing the right things, no matter what it is you're trying to accomplish, right? And so this is where you're simply thinking about, what are the specific steps? But how do you actually make these changes stick, right? So in order to change your life, you change your life. You change what it is you're doing throughout the day. When freaking 11:23, what are you doing at 11:23? Whatever you're doing, whatever you did yesterday, the day before that, the day before that, whatever you did at 11:23, it should be very different starting tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Should be very, very different. And so how do you make those changes stick, though? Because a lot of times we say, all right, I'm going to go work out, right? And then you go work out for a week, 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're done. You're like, all right, I'm done. I worked out enough. That was my New Year's resolution, right? And so that's what happens a lot of time with change. But how do you actually get these changes to stick? Because old habits tend to die hard, right? This is where I've always thought it was interesting when people say habits take 21 days to build. Like a new habit, it takes 21 days to build a new habit. And at first I used to believe this. I used to think like, yeah, it takes 21 days or 30 days, however long people say it. 30 days, 21 days, 90 days, however long people want to say. Everyone always has this timeline. And so I thought it doesn't actually take any of that amount. It doesn't take 21 days, 30 days, 90 days. It doesn't take any of those days. It takes a single second, a single moment, more like a real decision, right? If you understand what a decision is when you cut off everything. You say, here's a decision. Bam, done. When you make that decision, that's the moment you have a new habit. It's not 21 days to build a habit, not 30, not 90, not whatever it is. It is a single split second, a single decision. You say, okay, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. Bam, habit has been created. Your life literally has been created that second you decide. But if you don't decide, what happens is you consider. Considering and deciding are two different things. And so a lot of people consider. When you consider, you're considering when you rethink everything in your head. A decision, when you make a true decision, what happens is you no longer think about it anymore because it's been decided. You say, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. Bam, that's it. You no longer sit there and think, okay, 5 days a week, but I mean, what if I don't know, what if I wake up one of these days, I don't really feel like it? And you're not thinking about that. You're still considering if all those thoughts are still popping in your head, you're just considering a decision. You haven't made one. And so habits aren't created in 21 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. They're created in a single moment. They're created with a single decision. It's like you go cold turkey pretty much. That's what happens. You're literally going cold turkey. I'm going to quit smoking. Bam, done. You just quit, right? That's a real decision. And so you just got to think that decisions tend to change your life. Considerations, considerations is when you kind of go back and forth. You're like, you know what? I'd love to quit smoking. Yeah, let me quit smoking, right? You still haven't made a decision at this point. You're like, yeah, let me quit smoking, right? And so all of a sudden you're considering it. You stop smoking for a little bit. You go back to it. All right. However you smoke, you go back to it because you just considered quitting instead of deciding to quit. There's a big difference. When you decide, what happens is your daily life changes. The activities in your daily life changes. I mean, daily activities, the people you're around, the environment, all that stuff, it changes. So like when I decided I wanted to do 1 million in online sales, right? That was the moment when I went from just sending out, it was like an email a week, to doing daily emails. I changed the things in my life. And once again, you want to think literally. It doesn't matter what you want to have happen. It's what you literally change in your life. You may want to have XYZ happen, make more money or whatever. That doesn't matter. All you did literally was say, here's what I want to have happen. Literally. Remember, think literally. Imagine you're a freaking computer. And a computer doesn't get what it is or where you're trying to go with this thought or idea. A computer just sees it as a literal thing. All you did was write down a goal. The computer doesn't know what you written down. It just knows you've written down something. It's like, all right, this person wrote something down. Okay, whatever. Whether they wrote down a goal, whether they wrote down 2 + 2 = 4, doesn't matter. They just wrote something down. And so at a certain point, you simply make that jump from writing it down to literally doing it to making it happen, right? Like I said, the decision part, there's no such thing as a habit taking 21 days or any days. It's the moment you decide the habit has been created. That's what happens. That's the moment. That's how decisions actually work. And so in order to make these things stick, to make your New Year's resolution stick, your goals, your missions, to make all these things stick, you simply make a real decision. That's when it sticks. Once you make that real decision, and the real decision, it's followed up by other changes, like changes in your environment, changes in the people you're around, changes in your daily activities, like the people you're around. I was just talking about this with someone the other day. I was saying I prefer to be around entrepreneurs because the conversations are really different. Like when I'm around my friend, we're really talking about money and just little things like how to use LLCs with taxes and stuff like that. We're talking about things like that. When I'm around ordinary people, we're talking about weather and a lot of times they want to talk about other people as well, which I definitely don't care about. And so they just want to gossip about things. And it's one of the reasons why I tend to be so quiet. Like if you see me in a social setting, you'll see I'm very quiet because I don't want to talk about what they want to talk about. Like that's literally why I'm sitting there thinking like, man, okay, I don't care. That's literally what's happening in my brain. I'm like, okay, let's see. What other content am I going to create next week? Okay, or maybe a new funnel. Or maybe I'll do more outreach. That's what's going on inside of my brain as there's like a social gathering, right? And so it's just a matter of you're sitting there thinking in terms of what literal changes do you need to make in your environment, in the people that you're around, the daily activities. I really suggest that you sit down and you create your daily calendar. I really suggest that because that is a literal change that you're making in your life. You're literally going from here's the goal that I want to have happen to here's the daily activities that's going to make this thing happen. And so that's why you truly need to make that change in order to change. The change has to be physical. It has to be tangible. It has to be something that I can actually see, like a legit thing. It has to be legit in terms of what it is, what change you made. If you sit down and you write down a goal, like remember, all you did was write down a goal, then the literal thing you did was write something down. That's literally all you did. Even if you're scheduling your day, think about what you literally just did. You scheduled your day. That's what you literally did. You still haven't done anything yet. You just literally scheduled your day. So think in terms of being very, very literal about the changes you're making. It's one of the reasons why I keep telling people the two most dangerous words in your entire life are I know. Those two words will literally destroy your dreams. It will ruin your life. By watching something, listening to something, and saying, I know, it simply doesn't matter because you didn't do anything. You may know you need to do outreach, but did you do any outreach? You may know you need to spend money on Facebook ads. Did you spend any money? You may know you need to go door to door as a realtor. Did you do it or not? It does not matter what you know. The only thing that matters is how your life literally changed. And this is where you simply want to change your environment to a point where you are removing the old habit triggers, I guess. So like there are certain triggers that cause you to revert back to old habits, to do certain things. So boredom is actually a perfect trigger. When you get bored, you tend to do something. Well, it doesn't matter what it is. There's something you do when you're bored. You get bored, you watch TV. You get bored, you do something, right? So you have to remove this boredom, unless the boredom causes you to do something cool like work out, right? If you're bored, you're like, let me just go work out. Then, hey, just keep that boredom in there. You'll work out, get all buff, Arnold Schwarzenegger like, right? But boredom causes you to do certain things. And so you have to sit there and say, all right, let me remove this boredom. That way I don't revert back to my old habit. So when I start feeling the boredom coming along, then I'm going to do this thing or whatever. I'm going to go jog or something. And this is one of the reasons why I keep saying schedule your day, schedule your day, schedule your day. Because when you schedule your day, the boredom doesn't happen because you scheduled your day. There is no time for boredom. Just remember that you're simply, in order to keep the change that you want to make, you revisit the vision inside of your brain all the time. I do this all the time. Every time I'm in the shower, I'm always revisiting my vision, what it is I'm trying to accomplish. Every single time I'm in the shower, every time, doesn't matter. It's like in the shower, boom, sitting there thinking about what it is I'm trying to do, right? Where I'm trying to go. Because I know that once again, to change my life, I have to change my life. You got to get it through your head. To change your life, change your life. You don't sit down and say, here's what my goals are. You sit down and say, here's what I'm doing to actually accomplish the goals. It's one of the reasons why I do not believe in telling people what your goals are. You can tell people what your goals are all you want. It just doesn't matter. What should be happening is whether or not people can guess your goals. So can they actually see what it is you're doing? Like, can they literally see the life changes you made and say, oh, I bet this person wants to get healthier? Like, can they actually see it? Are you going to sit down and say, my goal for 2019 is to get healthier? Or as time goes on, are people going to see you posting you at yoga, you doing more cardio, and you posting more Instagram photos of you doing some workouts? Are people going to see that and say like, oh yeah, well, obviously his goal is to be healthy. So which one are you going to do? Just understand that to change your life, you got to change your life. All right. So let's see. Any questions or anything that popped up? Let's see. Oh, and by the way, we're not going to do a Facebook Live tomorrow. I'm going to let you guys watch the fireworks. I'm for sure going to watch the fireworks. And then because the fireworks going to be at midnight, my ass is going to be too damn tired to wake up to do this. So, all right. So we won't be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow. But we will start. What is tomorrow? We will start on Wednesday. All right. So let's see. Say, yes, very funny. Sometimes I see things on here and think they are live when they're not. Sorry for being stupid. Wait, what? David, we're pretty live right now. Let's see. All right. So you said, okay. Wait, I missed the first part. Okay. Yes. So David said, is this live? Then Nick said, no, it's a broadcast from the future, August 2023, actually. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2023. That's when we are right now. All right. All right, cool. And then we said, let's see, Sherry said, going to use this habits are decisions and considering and deciding are two different things. Yep, exactly. All right, cool. So Mary said, all right, perfect. He said, what camera to use? The Canon XF 400. That's the camera I use for the Facebook Live. All right, let's see. Richard said, just signed up, decided to start tomorrow. Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, welcome, Rich. Make sure you join the Facebook group as well. All right, so let's see. Sign said, how much investing do you do? You mean investing in myself or just investing like my money? Like, yeah, it depends on what you mean by the investing. Basically, I invest a lot, on both ends, right? I'm actually doing more to invest the money as well. So like investing in myself, I've invested in myself 24/7. It's one of the things that I only spend my money on. Anyone who knows me knows that I don't actually buy things. Like it took me a lot to actually buy this Apple Watch. Even though, what is it, only like $500 or something. It took me a lot to just buy this watch because I don't actually like having things. Like I just don't. I think in terms of if I got to move from a place, like I don't want to freaking spend all this time packing and everything. So I don't actually like things, and it just doesn't matter to me. So in terms of investing, I'm always buying books, masterminds, paying for coaching and all that stuff, right? And so that's why I think with investing, when it comes to actually investing the money I made into places, well, this is a point where I'm studying the commercial real estate to invest in the big apartment complexes and make money through that way as well. All right, so let's see. Don't be a thinker, be a doer. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Say, can you tell me who wins the 2019 Super Bowl? I'll think about it. I mean, us being 2023, I don't want to ruin the timeline and then everything changes. Some of you guys, you've seen The Flash, so you get it. You ruin the timeline, then everything changes. So, all right. So cool. All right. I guess we are good to go for today. So tomorrow, just make sure you guys are actually doing what it is you need to do. You got to simply think, what are the literal changes that you're going to actually make? Like the literal changes. Did you just sit down and say, here's what I want to change? Or did you sit down and say, here's the actual changes I'm literally going to make? And the actual changes tend to come down to scheduling your days. Like literally, you sit down and you say, okay, tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm going to do this. Then from 11 to 11:15, I'm going to take a break. Then from 11:15 to 12:30, I'm going to do this. You literally make the changes. If you're sitting down and all you're doing is writing down goals and writing down the things you want to change, you haven't actually changed anything in your life. And so understand that to change your life, you change your life. There shouldn't be life should not pop up. Other things in your life shouldn't just get in the way. There's no such thing as life getting in the way. It is just a matter of, is this a priority or not? If it's a priority, life does not get in the way. It just doesn't. If these things are priorities, it will always trump your business and your dreams because your dream isn't a priority to you. And so it's really one of those things where I don't think people want to hear it. People kind of get it, but they don't really want to hear it. I was watching a video with Kevin O'Leary, the guy from Shark Tank. And in the video, he actually said, he's like, look, man, when you're building your business, it actually trumps your family. He's like, you don't get it. He's like, as an entrepreneur, when you're building your business is number one. And when people hear that, they're like, nah, I don't really know that, right? And then I read another article. This was a while ago. The article actually said, real entrepreneurs see their businesses the same way a mother sees her child. Now, some people look at that and they'll hear that and say, that's ridiculous. No, it doesn't. But when I read that, I was like, holy crap, that makes sense. Like everything made sense. I'm like, why is it that I put my business before pretty much everything? And it's the same as what a mom does with her child. The mom puts the child before everything. I do damn near the same thing with my business. And when Kevin O'Leary said that, I was like, see, that's what a real entrepreneur truly does. And it's one of those things where people don't want to hear it. But it's one of those things when you truly get it, you realize that nothing else is a priority to you. And so you simply think about your priorities. And once you understand the priorities, life doesn't get in the way. In order to make the changes that you want to make, it's very simple. You decide on what a priority is to you. You decide on the change. You decide, is this truly a priority? Because if it's not, life will always get in the way for you. No matter what happens, life will always get in the way for you until you decide on whether or not it's a priority to you. And so once you make that decision, your entire life will change. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to say, all right, I'm going to start growing my speaking business. But I work from home and I've got kids and my wife are there, and the kids, they come in all the time. At that moment, you haven't changed anything. At that moment, you say to your kids, look, daddy's got to work from X to Z. When this door is closed, you do not come in unless you're literally dying. And in that case, I won't know until I open the door and I see you dead. So it's one of those things where you change your life. You literally change your life. You do not let life happen to you. You are creating the life you want to have happen. That's how you do it. So let's see. David said, what time are your Facebook live sessions in UK time? I don't know. Look it up. It's always 9 a.m. Pacific time, U.S. Pacific time. So look that up. All right. So let's see. Do you know of Colin McLeod? Yeah, Colin's actually really good. All right. Let's see. All right. So we are good to go. Good to go. All right. So I guess we are good to go for today. So tomorrow we're not going to be doing a Facebook Live, but Wednesday we are. January 2nd, we're going to start Facebook Live 9 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. Remember, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thanks everybody for showing up. Just remember that in order to change your life, you have to change your life. Change what you do throughout the day. Change the daily activities, the environment you're in, the people you're around. Change your life to change your life. Take care, everybody.